Let's chat Falcons now, a move that happened as the Falcons get in free agency and like they kind of have all offseason, not the sexiest of moves. Josh Andrews, a veteran interior offensive lineman who spent time with the Eagles and Colts and Jets, amongst others, has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Falcons. Now, the contract details at this point, not yet known. We don't know what the Falcons are paying him. Beyond his agent saying there was some guaranteed money. Might not mean that much. But he does offer some interior offensive line depth. He's probably not going to start. I would assume that Matt Henderson takes over at center. But depth-wise, Andrews does give the Falcons some depth on the interior. Let's talk Falcons NFL draft now. How about Trey Lance to the Atlanta Falcons at number 4 overall? Peter King says he hears the Falcons are leaning quarterback at number 4 overall. And he mentioned Trey Lance there. Of course, he does not go number 3 overall. And I think in terms of player fit with the scheme, which matters. Fit matters way more in the NFL than we ever want to admit. But the player fit on the Falcons, I think, is great for Trey Lance. He can sit a year or 2 behind Matt Ryan. The Falcons, who are not planning on being the top 5 ever again. Of course, that could change, but with a healthy Matt Ryan, better coaching staff, they should be outside the top 5, right? Could get a franchise guy and then sit him for a year or 2. What matters here for the Falcons side of it is what the draft order actually falls out to be, right? It's going to be Trevor Lawrence at number 1. He's going to the Jags, penciled it. It's a done deal. It's done. It's going to happen. Meyer has made that fairly clear. The Jets, I think I'm like 85, 90% sure that they're going to go Zach Wilson. The Niners, meanwhile, I don't know which, but they're going to go quarterback. So Atlanta, if they want one of the Justin Fields, Trey Lance guys who are there at 4, or I guess maybe Mac Jones, gross, they can just take him. They can take a quarterback like a Trey Lance and put him in a perfect situation. In the modern NFL, you don't see first-round picks sit. They don't sit and be a backup rotation guy. That's not what they are. But I think Lance could benefit from that. The production is outstanding, right? And he did a lot in terms of the game planning and prep work that will make an adjustment easier in the NFL. Although he's still playing at North Dakota State, there are some technique things that you certainly want to figure out as well. And because of that, I think sitting Trey Lance for at least a little bit makes quite a bit of sense. So Falcons fans, let me know what you guys would do. Would you draft Trey Lance at number 4 overall if he is there on the board? Type in D for draft or type in P for pass. Which route would you prefer to go? Get your votes in for me in the comments section. D for draft or P for pass. Especially if, let's say, Fields goes 3. I like that move quite a bit for the Atlanta Falcons because with the way that I value the quarterbacks this year, I've got Trevor Lawrence number 1. And 2, 3, and 4, it's all close to me. I've got round 1 grades on each of them. But I got Justin Fields 2, Zach Wilson 3, Trey Lance 4. And with the way quarterbacks are valued, if you think one of them is your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years, you should just do it. I got Mac Jones in round 2. Fine if you want to take him in round 1. I hate the idea of him going number 4 overall. But one of those top 4 quarterbacks is going to be there for the Falcons. In fact, it might be the last of those top 4. If that's the case, I think Atlanta should take the quarterback. Now, in light of the Niners trade up to number 3, one of the side stories that came out of this for the Atlanta Falcons was that they had actually had trade talks as well with San Francisco. Now, of course, they didn't end up doing that deal. Then Dolphins moved down, and it all worked out for the 49ers. The number 4 pick now, in terms of quarterback going 1, 2, 3, well, that's where the draft starts now, is at that number 4 overall pick. And the Falcons could go numerous directions here. They could just take the quarterback. They could take the best player on their board. Or a very strong contender here is to trade that pick. And I am of this mindset for Atlanta. If you have a number 4 overall pick, you should either take a quarterback, because that's the most important position, or trade it. If they don't trade it, there are some interesting options and routes that this organization could go. We'll mention the two quarterbacks, right? Trey Lance, Justin Fields. One of them, I'm pretty sure, is going to be there for the Falcons if they want to go quarterback, if that is the route that they want to go. Penei Sewell, if you want to go offensive line, okay. Do you want a playmaker? Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts. But for the Falcons, what you could get by moving back even just a couple of spots could be more valuable to you as an organization than any of those one individual non-quarterbacks. And there are some teams that could want to trade up. Beginning with Carolina at number 8. Now, I don't know if the Falcons would do this, because trading in division and allowing a rival to get their quarterback, it's not how NFL teams usually operate. There are, of course, some exceptions, but not always. So I think the cost for Carolina would be a bit more expensive than, say, Denver at number 9 if they want to go get a quarterback. The Patriots could do a Niners-type trade, move up to 4, and give up all of their picks to go get their next franchise guy. Chicago, Washington, way further down, you might want to do a similar type of trade-back up deal, because that's a really steep price to move down 15-plus spots, but those teams do not have a long-term franchise quarterback. So for Atlanta, knowing the Jags are not going to trade another pick, the Jets probably aren't, and the Niners definitely aren't, all the trades go through them now. They are now in control of how the draft goes after the first 3 picks. So what should the Falcons do? Type in T for trade or type in K for keep. What should the Falcons do here? Get your votes in, T for trade or K for keep. Now, while you guys are down there, make sure you're subscribed. That way you don't miss out on any major NFL news that goes down. When there was the wild Niners, Eagles, Dolphins 3-team trade, we broke in live and broke it all down for you guys. If you want to stay in the know with what's going on around the NFL, then hit that big red button and subscribe today. Long expected, but also once again reportedly, right? The NFL is moving to a 17-game schedule for this upcoming season. This has been reported many a time, was mentioned again by Adam Schefter at NFL.com, so we're bringing it back up again. As has been the expectation, extra game gets added, no extra bye week, and just 3 preseason games. Not even 2 has been discussed. It's 3 down from the more typical 4. Now, there are some NFL players, mind you, who are not fans of this particular move, which I do think makes some sense. Alvin Kamara among the outspoken ones, but we knew this was coming. This was a very clear path that was being headed down, as I use passive voice poorly, once the NFL moved to make all this happen. This was going to be the case, and it was expected it was going to happen this year, especially as the new TV contract money gets to hit around the NFL. Now, as we've mentioned before, we do know the assumed matchups. It's cross-division AFC versus NFC. AFC expected to host in this upcoming 2020 season, and then it flips for 2022. So it's Washington at Buffalo, Giants at Miami, the Cowboys at the Patriots, Eagles at the Jets. Of course, it's matched up based on where they finished last season. So number 1 seed versus number 1, number 4 versus number 4, all that good stuff. Fun matchup, by the way, Seahawks at the Steelers. Ooh, that's an interesting, juicy matchup. Rams at the Ravens, Cardinals at Browns, Niners at Bengals. Who will start at quarterback? I guess we'll find out. The Saints at the Titans, the Bucks at the Colts, Brady versus Wentz, the Panthers at the Houston Texans, and the Falcons at the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is not the most appealing option ever. I think the best matchup of these new extra 17-game matchup, the Packers at the Chiefs. Man, that one should be a primetime game. That's awesome football. The Bears take on the Raiders, which I'm very intrigued by because it's the Khalil Mack revenge game. Vikings at the Chargers. The Detroit Lions, by the way, also taking on the Denver Broncos. So 2 not-so-great teams that could maybe have a different quarterback in 2021 and potentially even in 2022 if things get really weird. So what do you guys think about the assumed 17-game season? Do you like this? Is this a path that you think the NFL should be going down? First time in a long time they've added games to the schedule here. Get your votes in for me. Do you like the 17-game season? Type in Y for yes or type in N for no.